Now to store away my favorite apple peeler and... Whoa! What the?
Woohoo! Yeah!
Mr. Code, what are you doing?
Found an old scooter in storage. I'm having a blast. Whee!
Well, you almost ran me over, you jerk.
Oh, lighten up. Hey, check out the rocket booster. Oh, crap.
Are you alright in there?
Oh, my head. My flank.
Oh dear, that's just awful.
Tell me about it. That was terrible.
You're right, Mr. Code. That bin was meant for recycled paper only.
Fluttershy plans to build her dream animal sanctuary. Hold it! Fluttershy has certainly come a long way in her assertiveness since putting her hoof down, including doing what's best for the breezies and forcing them out, to standing up and motivating her brother to accomplish his goals. Today's episode is not only a culmination of all she's learned to stand up to ponies, but actually pushes her to a great leadership role. The local vet is overwhelmed and Fluttershy takes on the challenge to build her dream animal sanctuary with the help of some experts suggested by her friends, and here's where the episode really picks up. From this point, Fluttershy is in a position that's essentially being an entrepreneur, which I think is amazing that she's tackling such a role. She's utilizing a team of experts to create a venture, is confident enough in actually trusting outsiders to build, with admittedly simple blueprints, but she's going beyond her boundaries, attempting to create a new unconventional sanctuary that's never been built before, overall pushing herself to new levels of leadership that's actually really inspiring. Now, initially one of the problems with the story was the fact that these new characters introduced are pretty bland and they don't really leave an impact on the audience at all. However, I realized that's kind of the point. And that's when we discovered the main theme of this episode in showing the difference between unsuccessful and successful citizens. This assembled team is meant to be forgettable by design, the first reason being the most obvious, this. Take that! Wrangler's design, she is one of the most obvious palette swap Rainbow Dash clones I have ever seen, and she's wearing a slightly modified version of AJ's hat, and she's got a southern accent to boot. She's meant to be a lazy redesign, reflecting her character and how far, or more so how not far, she's willing to go for another. Alright, I see the comments, alright, okay, it's a bit of a stretch, but let me get to the main meat of the argument. All three of these characters were recommended by the main six, as they have demonstrated that in the past, they performed their area of expertise quite well. However, we discovered that they only specialize in very niche situations, unwilling to try anything new and just do what they know in their very narrow realm of knowledge. Yes, they did listen to Fluttershy's advice on what she wanted, but again, due to their restricted skills, it's limited their understanding of what she actually wanted. They are the perfect example of unsuccessful people, unwilling to learn new things, always criticizing without any value, and having a sense of entitlement saying that their way is the best in their field. Because if you hired these workers and they failed, you'd fire them and move on to better employees. Whereas Fluttershy is an example of someone successful with how far she's come from the shy mare who once feared her own shadow and is now taking a grandiose venture and constantly expanding her boundaries. She quote-unquote hired them to do a job and they did not meet the client's standards of what was requested and critically analyzed everything they got wrong. If you pay for a car and you got a boat, you'd be pissed. Despite the constant pushback from the trio, I love how Fluttershy stuck to her guns like any influential business leader would and not compromise the ultimate vision. If the boss isn't happy with the overall product, they have to be critical and tell them it's wrong despite how disheartening it can be to the team. It was surprising yet amazing. Fluttershy even criticized her own friends' crazy suggestions.
How about putting an awesome flying course for the birds right there? And a carrot cake stand here! Ooh, a library cave? Every pony stop!
Even after failure of the first sanctuary, Fluttershy was not discouraged and pushed through to find an alternate solution, showing really admirable confidence. Once again, educating this entrepreneur theme of constantly conquering adversity and not accepting failure as an option. And in a very clever decision, she brings Big Daddy McCold, which makes sense with his love of animals now, and construction expertise, and leads to the final great lesson of this episode being that it's best to hire the right help instead of the most convenient help. Overall, this episode is fantastic. The only criticism I had was it did take a little while to get the plot rolling on the construction, but other than that, the pacing was nailed at all major points. And this is basically a Kickstarter for kids and young entrepreneurs in project management, choosing the best people to make your project come to life. And of course, awesome characterization of Fluttershy coming out of her shell more so than ever before and creating something great for the animals. That's it for today, guys. Until next time, MC out!